Not pressed record yet, but I already did. So let's see how this goes. Hello, hello, hello. You know what I just realized? I'm a little bit confused by that. Season 6 rank 2. What the hell are we ranked second in? Because it can't be fans because we're third in fans, sadly. So what the hell are we ranked second in? Because we got the Hall of Fame trophy, 10 Hall of Fame trophies first. I don't know. This is going to be an extremely confusing episode. Let me give a forewarning. A little bit tired, so I might yawn. It's not because I'm bored. Definitely not bored. Tired. It is the holiday season. I'm wishing everyone a happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, whatever you do, please stay safe. Have fun with what you do, but please stay safe. Happy holidays. So, trying to squeeze this recording in while I can. And there's a lot of card subjects to be changed. I've already changed what I originally had planned on this. Injuries are starting to pile up. Contracts are slowly starting to pile up and probably going to expire. So a lot of changes probably may be during the course of this. But I'm trying to think. So thing one that needs to be done is I wanted an even amount for our women's division. And at this moment, we are. But Kaden Carter is out for 5 freaking weeks. Her contract expires at 4 weeks. And at the end of the last episode, we did a talent scout search and re signed Maxine Dupree on a decent contract. And we're going to turn her. Actually, we don't even need to turn her face. I just realized. I'll just be honest with you. I have no clue the direction we're going with our women's division. I liked the direction our women's division was going at the beginning of the season. Then we traded MyGM away, and it kind of everything went to crap. But I just realized that we actually don't need to do this. We need to yet, at least. So we'll have her doing an ad promo. What I was getting at though is Caden Carter's not happy here. We did a talent scout search, so we're actually going to sign somebody and get $10,000 back here. Now, the good thing with Maxine Dupree is that she's a heel specialist, and I wanted to sign Shotzi. The problem with Shotzi is that she's a cruiser. We don't have any giants for her to feud with. Ivy Nile is interesting, but cost a lot more. So I think I'm going to go with my initial plan and sign Shotzi, and she will feud with Maxine Dupree, and we'll sign her on a 6-week deal while we have this money. Okay. Now, over here, our tag team feud was Umaga Solo Sikoa, the Bloodline, versus Bray Wyatt and Damian Priest. But Damian Priest is out with an injury for 3 weeks. Now, I'm very much just hoping that he can come back and we can get like one big tag team match with Umaga Solo versus Priest and Bray again, but time will tell with that. We need several more injury rehab cards. We only got 2, and I'm going to try to wait till closer to the pay-per-view to use those. But the big LG, Luke Gallows, is stepping in to fill in for Damian Priest's role, for at least for tonight, maybe even longer. But we'll see with that. I want to start a Dragon Lee and Johnny Gargano feud, and I know that they're both faces at the moment, but we'll have one of the two, probably Dragon Lee turn heel next week, but instantly starting off with a backstage brawl with the two kind of spices things up. MVP and LA Knight's been going on for a minute, and they're going to continue tonight with a tables match, even though they've had several matches already. I want Zero to feud with AJ Styles. Problem is AJ is still hurt, but I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of the curve and I believe it is curve, and turn Zero heel for this. Now, if you remember the last episode, I had a three-way dance, a triple threat. It was Dragon Lee, Zero, and Gargano. And I was like, well, whoever wins that, it'll be a No More Contenders match. They face Bobby Lashley. Then I came to the realization, I need to keep as many people healthy as I can. And I thought it made sense. It didn't really make the most sense. And Bobby Lashley interfered, so it kind of did make sense. But I'm trying to keep Bobby Lashley as healthy as possible. So that is why I pulled that match, and he's just going to be cutting an ad promo. But we still do have a championship match on this show. That being a women's title match between Rhea Ripley and IYO SKY, with IYO SKY's damage control partner Dakota Kai interfering. So like we kind of have like an intermingling women's rivalry with Asuka, Rhea, Dakota, and IYO, where nobody is really on anybody's side. They just want the women's championship, which is realistically how it should be. Which realistically, we could get a big fatal four-way women's match out of it. Granted, it is a bit insane that 3/4 of those people are damage control members, but in this sense, that doesn't completely check out and is not necessarily the case the whole time. So if there's any other notes, I don't really know off the top of my head. We have one contract negotiation power card, which I thought we had at least another one, and I don't know who. Because if I'm looking at the expiring contracts, Umaga definitely needs to stay. MVP would be a benefit with us, especially because we have Lashley. LA Knight, I would like to keep. Gargano, I'd like to keep. Priest and Bray, like I said, is mainly due to the tag team scene, but they would probably be the first two that I don't bring back. LG, Big L, I'm going to keep referring to him as Big LG. Probably can get back on a decent deal, but that's what our priority will be this episode is injuries and contracts. So, also, already obviously have all this written down. Like I said, I had to change a lot of it. Not that much. But I already had a thumbnail made with Solo and Umaga with the tag titles. So, it'll be very interesting if I get to use that. And the title of the episode is going to be Bloodline Reigns Supreme, which I probably could have came with a better name. As they do at least win their first match, so that is good. I don't like that it turned that into a rivalry, but with a stipulation match, it kind of was probably going to happen. As Dragon Lee wins this. Dragon Lee did not lose a lot of matches his first go-around here in WCW, by the way. He kept beating Seth Rollins. Who else did he go? It was Seth and Randy Orton. He was not losing those matches. As Rhea does retain the championship and is freaking out for 4 weeks. So that is not good. I also don't even know what our next pay-per-view is. And y'all know our rule for ECW. Any show that involves Zoe Stark and Blair Davenport in a segment together is an automatic sim. So I'm tired. They've been feuding for 2 straight seasons. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and sim here. Even though that NXT looked like a decent episode. Also, I don't even know who won our MVP actually beat LA Knight. I completely blanked on that match. So I'm trying to concentrate. Bro, we got a decent amount of money. But I was trying to, do the upgrades to other things. But we might have to, not do that stuff. So I'm confused. Oh, we're still in second because we have 10 Hall of Fame trophies in NXT only has 9. So that is why we're still in second. Now, the thing that sucks is that once NXT probably gets their 10th Hall of Fame trophy, they will end up in second and we'll end up in third. But I thought the whole goal of this was to get in the Hall of Fame first, which we did. And I'm going to keep reminding myself that and reminding you that we got the 10 Hall of Fame trophies first because there's probably no way that we're going to catch up fan-wise. So that's why I had to give that reminder. Boss, I'd like to get as much in ring experience as possible as part of my journey to becoming the greatest superstar at WCW. I can respect that, especially because you got a 98 stamina. I feel like a no-holds bar match would be perfect for me right now. Could you book me in one of those within the next couple of years? It would mean a lot. You know what? Because you got a 98 stamina and you asked so nicely. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been feeling a little underappreciated around here lately. I've been one of the top stars of WCW for a while now, even though you've been here for 3 weeks. And I get no recognition for going out there day after day, putting on the best matches around. I'm not sure what I'm expecting out of this, but I'll let you know. I'm pretty important to WCW, aren't I? The fans can see that. Can you? You know, the thing here is that it's only a 50K bonus, but he's also talking out of his ass. And Dragon Lee, Johnny Gargano would be a great rivalry, great matchup. But I'm not just pulling money out of my ass to give it to him. So, no. I'm gonna hope. Hey, I was talking highly about Dragon Lee constantly winning his matches. There we go. And I think I know exactly what we're gonna do for that. Have at least one last man standing match this week. Shotzi wants a no holds barred match. So we also need to start compiling these dang contracts, though. All right, though. Bro, that is hilarious. I apologize, Gargano. He's the most popular star. He's the most popular star. But he has also been here for freaking 3 weeks. LA Knight is 3 weeks. Umaga is 2 weeks. I want to keep Umaga the happiest. And especially because he is a champion. So I feel... Also have no clue where my phone is. I thought I grabbed it. I know this doesn't matter to y'all, but I heard a rumbling. And it was my phone, actually. So I just dropped it, but called it. Almost dropped it, I guess I should say. Whew! Okay. This sucks that they don't have the extra contract. So, like I said, I want to keep freaking Umaga the happy. So we're going to do this for him. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Gargano. So I'll say this: might not necessarily need Dragon Lee to turn heel yet, because we're probably just gonna job out Johnny Gargano because he pissed me off so much. The issue, I will say, that's why I'm not really trying to turn either heel, because I'm gonna need. Because Gargano's probably gone, I ain't kissing ass, and he ain't going to like the contract that we try to give him. Also, I will say Dragon Lee being a freaking 32 stamina is not the greatest. So this might be just a best-of series. So we had the first match last week. The Dragon Lee won. Backstage brawl. We could have obviously done a better stipulation. I think what was the last man standing was the commissioner goal, correct? So there we go with that. So that'll be the match this week. Granted, like I said, I don't like the face versus face dynamic, but... y'all can understand the circumstances a little bit. All right, over here now. Shotzi wants a no holds barred match. Which I know this is very weird for. I forgot that the person that loses is injured. All right, because they got high stamina, this is not the biggest deal. All right, who's available over here? Umaga versus the Big LG. Last man standing match is our opening contest. Love that. I love that. And then right here, it would make sense to do MVP in LA Knight again. Wouldn't it? It would, but I also don't like constantly using MVP because he's got a 31 stamina. But we also really don't have anybody else to do anything, so they'll go again. And we're gonna do it. We're gonna test something. We're just gonna do this as a normal match because all their matches have been stip matches. I want to see what their rating gets for this. Now, we're trying to build money up. We're actually trying to build fans up, but that's kind of a lost cause. So who cuts the best promos here? Bray Wyatt, ad promo. Another ad promo. I should obviously go with people with the highest stamina. From EO and an ad promo from Dakota. Anything else of note? She's getting that match. MVP, we're going to have to give a contract next week. LA Knight, 2 weeks from now. LA Knight, I believe, will be after the pay-per-view, which is a good thing. Dragon Lee, I don't know if we'll bring back or not, just because we don't really have any plans for him. We kind of gave up on doing submission matches, but it's not the biggest thing. We need to do 4 more title matches, which there's no title matches on this show. We're almost to where we can buy one of these, but I don't know if we need to with the contracts expiring, which I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. Anything else of note? Did we just get a power card that I think we get it after for this week? So, 138th episode. Which is weird that I've done something 138 times. Last man standing between Umaga and Luke Gallows. I don't have any room on my table. Last man standing. Sorry, but one of you will be leaving this match injured because it's a no-holds-barred match at the request of Shotzi. LA Knight MVP again. If no one ends up injured, their last match will be at the pay-per-view. But I can't make any promises. But this time around, it's just a straight-up match, as our main event is Dragon Lee versus Johnny Gargano in a last man standing. No, yes. 2 last man standing matches on the night. So here we go.
1, 2, that's 3. Let me hear the bell.
Umaga wins.
1, 2, ring that bell.
Actually, Dupree wins. Shotzi is not going to be one of the greatest WCW stars, losing her specialty match like that.
1, 2, ring it.
MVP wins. Okay, that sucks.
1, 2, that's it. Ring it.
And Johnny Gargano wins, trying to teach us a lesson. So they get a 2-star main event. Y'all know a rule. Y'all might not know the rule, but I've already explained it in this video. If this match gets a high rating, I'm going to be a bit salty. Because our main event was wet for it. I'm actually interested in this main event, so I'll be generous and go through their show.
Ring the bell. 1, 2, that's
100 popularity for Drilla Gacy is a bit insane. Especially because he's going against Muhammad Ali. We need to try to trade for Gigi Dolan. I feel that she would do well here. Silver alumni or finale. Yeah. Gargano might be bye-bye now. I have no clue where all this money's coming from for all these shows, if I'm just being honest. We kind of going crazy with the money at the moment. I'm willing to accept that. That's not the craziest. It's been too long. Thanks for the opportunity. The movie was getting serious buzz. This is great for my career. Things aren't working out for me. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that he heard me. No can do, I'm afraid. Time out. No can do. So, yeah, he's by. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm clearly the best superstar at WCW. and I imagine the crowd might be getting bored of seeing me win so easily every week. I need a bigger test, one that suits my superior skills. I want to go against both Bray and LA Knight this week. And I don't mean in a tag match. I want a triple threat or a fatal four-way. I can definitely do that match because MVP is injured and Damian Priest is still out with an injury, and he's technically feuding with Umaga in the singles. You can understand why I didn't say solo there. So I'm willing to actually do this match. Granted, does it have to be? I don't think it has to be the main event. So that's actually not the craziest thing. Do not book your most popular cruiser this week, which I think we only have one, and that's Dragon Lee, correct? It is, isn't it? Or did I just make that up? All right, so I actually think this. Yeah, is it Shotzi? No, it is Dragon Lee. All right, so this actually helps because what we're actually going to do is turn Gargano heel. Loser leaves town match at the pay-per-view between these two, as I almost booked the wrong person, as Gargano is actually acting like a heel in our contract negotiations. So we'll give Dragon Lee the week off. Promised Solo a triple threat or fatal four-way match against Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, as I hit the wrong button twice. So I'm willing to oblige. So Solo versus Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight, which is not the best match because they're all bruisers. So I'm glad that this is actually not the main event. And is there anybody else that I could add to this? I could add freaking Zero because we could add Bobby Lashley, who's another bruiser. We also need people for other matches. So it kind of just helps if we just leave that match as is. Now, thinking out loud, we need to go. This hurts. This really hurts. 60,000 is a lot. But it is very much needed. And we need to use one of these. So this is it by 2 weeks. So who is needed the most? Braun Breaker. And it actually checks out. Because he's going to return, and our main event is going to be that U.S. title. Would it make more sense for Braun or AJ? Braun or AJ? I think Braun. That way, I'm going to hope that the title changes hands. That way, at the pay-per-view, it's Braun and Bobby for just the world title, and the U.S. title could be involved with other people. So this actually could be a good thing. So, granted, it would really help us if LA Knight wins this match. And the thing is, we do have a fixed match card that I'm fairly certain I will be using for that match. So, Braun Breaker versus LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa versus Bray Wyatt for the U.S. title. Straight up. Asuka wants a match, or she wants her return. Who else is available for us? LG, Zero, Umaga. We can't really book Dragon Lee. And only one of these people are freaking faces. I forgot about MVP being injured. Bro, we need a 3-week. Bro, it actually might be crazy. I brought back MVP before AJ Styles. Who is out the longest? Rhea is 3 weeks, and MVP is 3 weeks, and AJ is 2 weeks, which I just bought this power card. Did I not just buy? Yeah, I did, but I can't use this one yet. So I could use that at the pay-per-view. So, I'm trying to think who is getting screwed here. We can actually bring, so we ain't even really got to worry about Shotzi. Also, I don't know why Shotzi's morale is low. I gave her the match that she wanted. She just lost. That's not on me. That's on her. Anyways, we haven't started anything with AJ yet. So we can wait till after the pay-per-view to start AJ and Zero. So we don't need to rush and bring AJ back. So I think it would make the most sense if we used it for... It's either MVP or Rhea. But I need to look at what the rest of the show is going to be as well. Because we might have to have somebody compete in a match. We're going to have Umaga and LG in another match. And we're going to use one of those like pre-match cards on Umaga. What was the match they just had? A last man standing. Umaga, I'm putting a lot of faith in your hands that you win this match. Because I need to use this fixed match on the main event. So this is actually a big time match up there. All right. So we need to do 2 women's matches. Asuka's return. Does she need? Who does she need to be going against? It's the question here. Because I kinda wanted to do a fatal 4-way with Asuka, Io, Dakota, and Rhea. But I don't know the most logical way to get there, considering they still have Dakota and Io feuding with one another. I also don't know how we conclude this. We're going to do this as a submission match. I just want this rivalry really to conclude. So that's why we're doing this. So at the pay-per-view, they might be in a steel cage match, and they don't really have any animosity with one another, but they've been stuck in this rivalry for a long time. And we're not trying to do what ECW's doing, just keep doing this match for no rhyme or reason. You know, we at least want some reason in here. So I'm willing to do the submission match tonight. And then at the pay-per-view, we could actually do submission, steel cage. I'm just going to hope that it resolves the rivalry at the pay-per-view. So I'm willing to do this match, especially because they still have high staminas. Now this leaves the issue here. So I actually know what I'm going to do. And it doesn't make the most sense. But again, it's kind of all damage control drama. Because Asuka wanted to be involved in a match, we're going to do a special guest referee match between Asuka and Dakota, where Io is allied to Asuka. And then Dakota's going to get mad and request that match with Io at the pay-per-view. So boom, bang there. It's not the best, but I also don't really want to turn Dakota or Io heel. And then we'd have to do another swap and wonder who we got to swap between Rhea. You know, it gets more confusing if I did it that way. So now Rhea is not as needed because we have the women's division figured out without Rhea. I'm going to start doing more charity promos. Do I? Sure, we'll try. I need one more. Now, we need a match here. But for who/whom? Do we start AJ and Zero? Because I just said that it's not as needed. So injury rehab. And we bring back Because MVP doesn't need to be involved in this match. He could. And then we have Braun versus Zero. And then, but I kind of want the U.S. title off Braun Breaker. So that's why we're not going to do that. Who's doing the promo over here? I think it makes the most sense to bring AJ back, doesn't it? Who to bring back? Who do we bring back here? Who do we bring back here? AJ or MVP? The thing with MVP is, like, I'm not booking him in against LA Knight because I already said that. With AJ, we're kind of starting. We're also wasting a week. Oh, well, we're bringing AJ back. That we could start this rivalry with Zero. I'm not that against it. And then when we get to the pay-per-view, we use this one on MVP. That way I can have one last match with LA Knight. So we also need to use this, and I wanted LA Knight to win. That way, LA Knight MVP could be for the U.S. title. And I'm all right with either one of those guys being the U.S. champion. So there's that. All right, so over here, AJ Styles enters a return match against Zero. So LA Knight's about to become U.S. champion. At our pay-per-view right now is Dakota versus EO, LA Knight versus MVP, Bobby Lashley versus Braun Breaker, and probably the Bloodline versus Bray and Damian Priest, which I already lost count. All right, let me go back. I think that was 4, and the last match would have been Gargano versus Dragon Lee. So if I'm going back through counting, number 1, Bloodline versus Damian Priest and Bray Wyatt for the tag titles. LA Knight versus MVP for the U.S. title. That's 2. Braun Breaker, Bobby Lashley, world title. That's 3. EO versus Dakota. That's 4. And Gargano versus Dragon Lee is 5. So, I'm still trying to figure this one out. I want at Mania, Asuka, Dakota, EO, Rhea, Fatal 4-Way for the women's title. There's a chance that it happens before then, but I kind of want that to be our big women's match at the show of shows. But again, might happen before that. What I'm trying to think is I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's kind of why I'm trying to not start yet. I also haven't wrote any of this down. Solo's getting his match. Gargano's about to leave. Oh, LA Knight's contract. All right, so we got to worry about LA Knight's contract. We're actually about to let a lot of these contracts expire, I just realized. Some of these people aren't as neat as I thought. Also, I don't know where Umaga popped up on this list. There he is. Okay, 3 weeks. Anything else of note? Who should we, like, here's the thing. Everybody's booked except for Dragon Lee, and he doesn't really need that. Can I use this on anybody? Just because I want to, screw these people over. So, I actually like this show. Alright, Ambulance Matt. Oh my god. Umaga. I'm very much hoping Umaga wins. If he doesn't, I would be heartbroken. But Umaga versus the Big OG in an ambulance match. Asuka wanted to make her return, and she is doing so by facing Dakota Kai with EO as the referee. AJ is making his return against Zero. The thing that sucks, this would actually be a good match, but I don't want to put it in a stipulation yet. Screw it. We'll do a tables match. It doesn't really change things that much. If AJ did like a 450 splash through the table, automatic 2 stars at least, but I would give it 3. Then our main event, at the request of Solo, with the returning Braun Breaker defending his U.S. Championship against LA Knight, Solo, and Bray Wyatt. I wonder who will win. Braun versus Knight. Yeah. Versus Solo. Which I almost wrote that down. Which wouldn't have been the biggest deal. Versus Wyatt. U.S. title. Which I also need to look at what our pay-per-view is. It's supposed to be Fastlane. A.K.A. Super Brawl. Which Super Brawl is double the freaking name of Fastlane. Okay. Michael won. Which is what was needed. Asuka wins. That was not guaranteed. AJ wins in his return. Which we didn't even get the 2 stars that I guaranteed. And LA Knight wins. That's a bit surprising that was the read for that. I was expecting at least 3. Okay. Y'all, it almost slipped by. It almost slipped by. I'm definitely intrigued by who wins freaking Wolfgang versus Kurt Angle, though. So we'll have to go and see what happens there. And by virtue, bro, R-Truth and Ilya Dragunov. Kurt Angle, ECW champion. Alright. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But he's kind of the main guy I wanted. That was him, Umaga, and MVP are the main people I'm prioritizing staying. So for that, I'm not trying to risk anything. Gargano, bye-bye. Cause nothing but trouble. This is not guaranteed, because he cannot compete for like the next 3 weeks. Rest your primary solo champions. Yeah, that's insane to do on a pay-per-view, especially in Nashville, Tennessee. All right, though. I know. I'm going to hope that it does. I feel that it won't. I'm going to hope that it does. But Io and Dakota in the steel cage match, I'm going to hope that it concludes their rivalry, their best of series. I don't even like calling it a rivalry because it's not like beef, but I very much want this to conclude this rivalry. I know that it won't, but I'm going to hope that it does. One of these rivalries that we have is like main event worthy. So we need to use this for MVP. So he can face LA Knight. Yeah. Let's think of this. I would love to. It would actually make the most sense if we did the tag team title match as our main event. That way, I can still use that thumbnail I was talking about earlier. I just don't know what would be like a fitting stip for the tag title match. I still, all these months later, don't know what the branded PLE bonus does. I'm trying to think of the other matches we're supposed to book. Oh, we're supposed to have a casket match, which we still are. Don't y'all worry, we're still having a casket match between these guys. I think I'm willing to do this as an Extreme Rules and Braun and Bobby as an Extreme Rules for the PLE bonus, and then we'll do this as a Tornado tag. Or a Hell in the Cell. Probably not a Hell in the Cell, because I do not like this. It's very high. Backstage brawl. Here's the thing with the backstage brawl, and I know to like a live audience this wouldn't matter, but like we get to plus 10,000 fans and whatnot, but like it wouldn't make any sense because the fans don't see that. We also already are having a steel cage match on the show. I kind of wish we had a better option for the tag team matches, I should say. And I don't really want to do 3 Extreme Rules matches, so a tornado tag kind of makes the most sense. We had a title match the last show, yes. Resolve 5 rivalries with a title match. I don't think LA Knight MVP should do this. Bobby and Braun's probably not concluding tonight, so. All right, EO and Dakota have had an on again, off again beef that potentially concludes tonight. Might just linger on for eternity, to be fair. But no one can get in, no one can get out of the steel cage. So EO versus Dakota in a steel cage. So I'm trying to multitask. Episode 140, Super Brawl / Fastlane. Sky versus Kai. Steel cage. This rivalry should conclude between. Do we do Extreme Rules for this? Because we've done an Extreme. We've had to have done an Extreme Rules match for these two before. I don't want to risk anybody getting injured, so I don't really want to do that. They're not really MVP kind of is, but LA Knight's not really a submission expert. I think we'll stick with it being an Extreme Rules match, but this time around, it is for the U.S. title. Yeah. Loser leaves town match between Johnny Gargano and Dragon Lee. They can complete their best. It actually really wouldn't be because Gargano won twice, correct? No, he actually won. This actually does. I'm actually happy with that because Dragon Lee won on episode 137 in the backstage brawl. Now Gargano won the next week in the Last Man Standing, and then I didn't book him in a match last week. So this does complete their best of series. And the loser of this match will be leaving town. Hell, both of them might leave town. That's what I like calling these casket matches, because it feels a little bit less somber. But Braun Breaker and Bobby Lashley reuniting their rivalry, this time in an Extreme Rules match. Lashley asked to have what MVP was having earlier in the night, in a title Extreme Rules match. World title Extreme Rules as our main event, tribal combat, bloodline match, whatever you really want to call it, between Umaga and Solo Sikoa, who hopefully win. That way I could use that thumbnail I was talking about, versus Bray Wyatt and Damian Priest. All charity promos. I'm trying to think if there's anything else of note. I'm trying to re-sign all of the important people before I look at other talent scout searches to go after. So normally I would do that while we have almost $100,000 in money. Tag team title tornado tag. Anything else of note? Plus 5,000 fans. You know what? I very rarely use this. I'm going to use it tonight. Screw it. Could I use this on someone that's hurt? No. I think Zero's also... Zero and Shotzi. But Shotzi actually might be hurt. No. Or Shotzi is actually being used. That's actually hilarious. I didn't see that. Anything else of note? These... Nothing really. Here we go. I like this. I like this. When I could make sense of like everything that is done on the show, that I like it. The rivalry's complete. Only got 3 stars. That kind of sucks, but at least I don't have to worry about that now. They could be friends again. They shook hands. The code of honor was adhered to at the end of that match. So we do have a new U.S. champion. Will the Hurt Business Syndicate have all the gold at the end of this? Probably not. You know, bro, MVP and Bobby versus Umaga Solo would be pretty crazy. As Dragon Lee survives the loser leaves town match. If I could find a giant for him to feud with, I would be interested in keeping Dragon Lee. As Bobby retains, so the Hurt Business Syndicate stays on top for at least tonight. As the Bloodline does not reign supreme, but don't y'all worry, I'm still using that thumbnail. Because the titles are vacated. Because David Priest is leaving. I slipped up. They got me. Because I pushed the wrong button. And then I can skip now. They also thought. Oh, you get me. Poor opening sucks. That sucks. Because it really wasn't. And we didn't even have a 5-star match. Granted, they didn't either. They only had 4.5-star matches. Our best match was in the second match. We get another Hall of Fame trophy, even though I ain't gonna lie. I'm keeping count. We're like 2 above everybody else because we should be at least at 13, at least 12. I think 13 now. So I'm kind of lying to y'all because I don't even remember how many we're at. All right. Nothing I'm really interested in trading in because I don't really know the value of a lot of this stuff. So I will let them negotiate with me. If I didn't have to give up the 173,000, I would be interested in bringing Bronson Reed back and bringing in Zelina Vega. But also, again, I just don't feel like giving up that money. Especially because Bronson Reed's out for 4 weeks, and then I have to worry about him getting healthy. We don't really have anything for Zelina to do at the moment. So this is not the worst trade offer. He does not. If we were talking 100,000, if we were talking 100,000, which I know again that's insane. I'm just not going to do it. It was not the worst. That wasn't a bad trade offer. Bring Carl Anderson back, but also we're having to spend money that I don't really want to spend, and we don't really need Carl Anderson back, do we? Not really. Y'all also did trade for him. Zero Scout. That's hilarious that I mentioned that I was gonna wait till I re-signed people to do the talent scout search. I don't know if I want to do this just because I don't know what the hell he would do. That's why I'm not going to do this. And we have to re-sign Umaga, and I'm probably going to sign Luke Gallows just for locker room vibes. So I do appreciate Dragon Lee being here. I also feel that Dragon Lee was not that much of a different. I'm lowballing him. If he doesn't, I'm lowballing him. Bro, this is going to be crazy to spend this much money on somebody that we can't book for like a month. This is insane. I'm low. Do we lowball him? They did lose the tag titles. I'm lowballing him. Screw it. Okay, it worked. I don't really like that because it completed their rivalry, but I could get Bobby Lashley to interfere, so we got things that we could do there. Superstars who perform a tag team call out. Can y'all please give me the shake-up card that whenever you do a charity promo, it like doubles the amount of fans? That's what I freaking need right now. I don't need these that help my superstars. The superstars are good on their freaking own. Y'all are screwing me over with this. And we never do tag team call out, so no. Show quality is increased when a show is booked with 3 or more different match rules. We tried that, but that like involves way too many people. Select your superstar with more than 65 popularity to lose 35 popularity. The rest of your superstars gain 5 popularity. I probably should have looked at the roster before I did that. Oh my God, I appreciate you, but you're the second. We're using you. Okay. Ensure that Zero cuts a promo this week. This is a must-need, so he will be calling out AJ, because we very rarely do call-out promos, but we're going to do one tonight. So our main event, I don't really like doing this. Especially, bro, those staminas are terrifying me. Bro, we're about to be in a very bad place with injuries. I wasn't going to book. I was going to wait and save this episode, but we're going to go ahead and book now. That way I can do a talent scout search to end the video, because I can't obviously do one this week. Who's under contract? Big LG, who's very disappointing, bro. Big LG might not make it out of the rest of his contract. We need as many injury rehab cards as we can get. That is kind of the point. Anytime we see an injury rehab, get that shit. It's kind of at the rate we're at right now. We also have a fixed match, which is not as needed right now. I don't like this main event, but it was requested. But MVP defending the U.S. title against LA Knight. Maxine Dupree and Shotzi are all healthy now. They want to renew their rivalry, this time in an Extreme Rules match. A little bit more tamer than a No Holds Barred match. And Dragon Lee's farewell. He wants his match to be against AJ Styles, which in real life, we obviously know this would be a fantastic match, but on here, it'll probably get 2 freaking stars. And in Bray Wyatt's last match, He'll be going against Solo Sikoa inside of Hell in the Cell. I feel I was forgetting again. I keep forgetting. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff every time. I kind of want the directions that we're about to go, because the tag division might get screwed over. The tag division is already screwed over because the titles got vacated. But maybe MVP and Lashley versus LA Knight and Braun Breaker for the tag titles. That way, again, the Hurt Business have all the gold, which would be hilarious because that's kind of what I alluded to last episode with Lashley wanting all the gold. But granted, he was U.S. and World Champion, which, again, the Hurt Business / Cindy. I'm going to keep calling him the Hurt Business because, A, that's what I'm used to calling him, and B, it's WWE, not AEW. Spoiler alert. But maybe this gets the Bloodline involved once they're all healthy. So then we could turn Umaga and Solo one of the... I think this actually checks out. So, Braun Breaker and LA Knight are going to pair together now to deal with Lashley and MVP. Lashley and MVP is only willing to do it to get the tag titles that are vacated. Solo and Umaga, once they're healed up, could turn face and go after Lashley and MVP for the World / US titles. And LA Knight and Braun Breaker, because, they're not bonded by anything, they could feud with one another with one turning heel. I actually think that really checks out. Granted, that kind of leaves a couple of open spaces, but that's not the worst thing. Women's division-wise, I kind of already alluded to the directions I wanted to go in, but we got a good thing going on. The only thing I do not like, A, the amount of stamina issues we're having, B, the Dragon Lee / AJ Styles rematches we're getting don't get as high ratings because AJ's always gets somebody that's a face. And C, obviously the issue is that this rivalry's on cooldown. And stamina. This is like the antithesis. Rivalry's on cooldown. Staminas are extremely low. This might not go the best. So it was requested though. Let's go ahead and get it done. So I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Alright, Shotzi's contract expires in a week. We might not even get to that big LG match because he might leave before we even get to that. But Bray wins his last match here on WCW. And Solo is out for 3 freaking weeks, but at least we got 3.5 stars. AJ wins. Dragon Lee's farewell, and I hate that I was so accurate with the description. Maybe I don't know. Because I was hoping a little bit of reverse psychology that I was like, oh, I was going to get a low rating and it would get high, but no, it still got a low rating. Shotzi's not going to be happy that she keeps losing to Maxine Dupree, but that's on her. As MVP retains, but... And he's out for 5 fucking weeks. Both of them's out. That sucks. Okay, I can finally actually go through a show. I don't even know if Kurt's still used to. I'm pretty sure he's still used to WCW. He's got to be. Here's the thing. I really regret early on using that power card that gave all of the plus 15 stamina. But the thing is, I probably would have already used it. If I didn't use it so early on, I would have already used it to where I wouldn't have had it now. So there's that. As Joe Gacy, the most popular star going on here, is now the North American champion. I ain't gonna lie, NXT's women's division is kind of on par with ours. I would give them that credit. That's a good debate. Look, they do got Molly Holly and Trish Stratus. Granted, none of our women's matches tonight, only had 1, got 2 stars. We got higher than 2 stars, but they can redeem themselves here. So there's that. Okay. In Rhea Ripley's return, Dakota and Io versus Asuka and Rhea. We don't really need 2 fixed match power cards. We're gonna book in advance. So the issue here, we could book matches for tonight's show. They would be non-stips, and we would have no promos unless we sign people, which actually might happen, obviously. All right, but we will be doing another match between these two. And then it would probably benefit us to do this non-stipulation match. Then they do this. Do a non-stip here, and then they just do promos until the pay-per-view. Because they could do a promo show 18, show 19, and then compete at 20 at Survivor Series / Fall. I don't even know. What was the November? World War III / Mayhem / you get the point. So over here, these two competing in our stip match, which we need Shotzi to win just to keep her happy. Then AJ and Zero, we could do this in a stip match, but I don't really want to because of AJ's stamina. So there's that. Now, this talent scout search is going to be very important for us, as we're going to do an icon, a renowned star, and an established star search. So that's terrible. That's terrible. Not much better. Wolfgang. Look at freaking Wolfgang. Bro, I would like Apollo in WCW, but it's just we ain't got anybody for him to feud with. That's the issue with having Apollo here. Carlito for one night only, because I'm only going to sign these people to cut promos, and we're going to do another talent scout search next week. Trick is one to think about. Trick is really one to think about, to be fair. An OG, a season 1 guy. I'm not that against Trick being one, and he was a top star on another show. And I could have him feud with Lashley when this stuff with Braun Breaker is done. So I actually think that Trick is a decent signing. Carlito kinda is, but he costs a lot of money, so that's why I'm not trying to commit to Carlito for outside of tonight. It would also make sense if whoever we signed, so Zero is a bruiser, so I'm willing to sign Tozawa and Trick. Tozawa, Trick, and 2 other people for one night. With the 2 other people cutting promos, Trick cutting a promo. That way he's not involved in anything. And then Tozawa facing Zero and AJ interfering. That way he's not facing Zero and getting injured. Then, to be fair, don't really know what Tozawa's going to do after that. So, Trick, I'm willing to sign for the initial 5 weeks. Tozawa, I'll do for 4 weeks. Just because I don't know outside of tonight what he will be doing. So, these 2 are competing with AJ running in. Can I do this? Okay. GM interference is the one where you can't do stip matches. So, they're arguing and catering, etc. Things boil over. They start a backstage brawl. AJ breaks in to attack Zero and help Tozawa. Boom. Because I've already kind of gave up on the fan thing, we're just going to do ad promos. That way we can try to build and sign as many people as needed. Now, Carlito is a 3-star promo. Cameron Grimes, who had a terrible run here in WCW, If we, It was hilarious because in the one of our drafts, I drafted Cameron Grimes and Austin Theory in the last 2 rounds, and if I hadn't done that, the trajectory of this series might be a little bit different. Not really, but I could have saved a lot of money, and that rivalry did nothing for us, and I put a lot of faith in those two. So I do remember that. I want to have Carlito cut a promo, so this is one of the most expensive promos ever. Carlito would have been nice to keep long term, but it's not really as needed. Cameron Grimes, I'm willing to give you a 1-notch shot. So here's that. This is actually a decent show. Again, very worried about freaking injuries. Do not book your most popular. We don't really need that power card. All right. Because I have this already booked, this might be a double taping. 2 months worth. How far are we into this video? We're an hour in. I'm willing, because I don't know when this will end, but you know. We'll see. Because my knee started to freaking lock up. Alright. You know what's crazy? I have no clue when I will film next week Shooting the Breeze because of the freaking Christmas Day games. And I don't know what time because it would make sense to do that on Thursday, I believe. No, I just taught this week. It would make sense to do it Tuesday, correct? Which would be an extremely early edition of Shooting the Breeze. Because I want to get Christmas Day game predictions out. World title match. Deadass, we should make this a women's tag team title match. Shouldn't we? We'll save that for the pay-per-view. If this turns into a rival, we'll save it for the pay-per-view, and then once we get to make this, extends it and gives reason for singles matches and that inevitable fatal 4-way match to take place. So we won't have this be a women's tag team title match yet. We'll save it for the pay-per-view depending on how the rest of this month goes. Maxine Dupree versus Shotzi, which we had Ivy Nile pop up again. I don't know if I'm willing to commit to Ivy Nile, especially because we don't have anybody. Because she would have to team with Shotzi unless we turned her heel. And I don't know. We would have to find a fighter to team with Shotzi. Am I willing to commit to Ivy Nile? I think I've talked myself into it because we kind of got a decent budget right now. So we had another. And we'll turn her heel next week. We need to find a women's fighter to team with Shotzi. Granted, Shotzi ain't won a match, so she's going to be freaking pissed and want to leave. And then we're going to put all this effort into this. And then we'll just have to have Ivy Nile or Maxine turn the other way and then ruin everything. She wanted to team with Io, correct? She had to have. Told Io actually wanted a team, which kind of blows my mind. Not really. But Damage Control reunite to go against Asuka and a returning Rhea Ripley. Hey, I am considering a holiday special on a different game. The issue is, to be honest with y'all, there's a chance that the next episode of this should be the last episode. If we fill out and finish this month, and then we got 1 month left, that'll be the end of this series. And then we'd have like a week space. Because this is a confusing ass month, if you just want to be honest. I don't even know what the date is now. At 0 wins. Yeah, y'all not getting away. Rey Mysterio versus... Bro, there's DDP. Did we sign DDP? No, we signed Luger and Great Muta. So I don't think we got anything to trade for freaking DDP, but I would love to have DDP on this roster. What the hell he would do, I don't know. But we got to figure that out. That's a lot of money. But because I already kind of talked myself into it, I'm not going to lowball, especially because we're about to get some free money from Luke Gallows. And I feel like EO... You know what's weird is EO, I don't think, is teamed with Dakota here. She's teamed with EO on here, so it kind of makes sense. We just go ahead and let go of the big LG. How long is he out? He actually is back. So the big LG is, bro, for 4 weeks. That's actually kind of crazy. All right, I have no clue what match to be doing. Spending $45,000 on a 1-week injury rehab sucks, but I'll do it. The moment that I don't do it, I'll need it. So I'm willing to do it. That is still a lot of money. All right. This might be where we go crazy and do an immortal search and sign that person for the rest of the season for Mania. And then we do another talent search. Scott Steiner bringing back Eddie, Sean. Which, to be fair, the top 4 options at least have ties with WCW. Also, we would have legit. Oh, we could do Eddie versus AJ. We could do Eddie versus AJ. We could do Eddie versus AJ. We also can't sign for the rest of the damn season. Actually, we can. We can. Gallows, 14,000. We'd have to fire somebody else, and then just do. Oh my God. Zawa, I appreciate you, but it's Eddie Guerrero. We got $4,000. All right. This is like top 5 craziest things we've done. Let's think this through. Oh, we're supposed to sign. We're going to look for women's talent after this shot, so don't worry. Do we need... All right, we can't have anybody turn heel. All right, so Eddie. Add promo, because we don't have anything for him at this moment. Ivy Nile can't really be facing Shotzi yet. I also forgot that Ivy Nile was supposed to turn this week, which again, we don't have the money for that yet. So we might be screwed in this. Oh, jeez. This episode might stinky. AJ. This is the filler episode to the max. See, Dakota, I don't want in this match because of stamina. She has the lowest stamina out of all these people. It doesn't really make sense for all these people to be involved in this match, but again, this is filler to the max. We don't have anybody left. Alright. This is what we sacrificed to bring in Eddie Guerrero, to be fair.
One, two, that's three. Ring the bell.
Braun Breaker actually wins, which is funny because it was a non-title match. But it kind of checks out for him to win that.
One, two, ring that bell.
At Zero, still wanted to win matches.
Two, ring the bell.
That AJ interferes in. I did not like that spun that off into that, but I'm not that surprised that it did that. So we do have a new women's champion. Kurt, DDP, I apologize to y'all, but y'all know the rule. Y'all didn't do anything wrong, but I'll try to get to this next episode. Episode 144. So by the time we're done, we'll have 150 episodes done. It's crazy to spend this much money on somebody that's not being used. Bro, you just got here, Eddie. We might have saw Trick Williams for no reason, to be fair. Alright. Asuka wants a title shot. She's going to be going against Io, correct? Asuka wants... Bro, I just saw CM Punk. You ain't been here in a minute. Okay. Asuka versus Io. I just need these injuries to like... Where the hell is LA Knight? LA Knight is back. Just good. Who can Eddie go against? Is the thing with Eddie. We should have did... See, I was about to say we should have did a promo for Eddie that turned him into a specialist, but obviously that was not needed. To be fair, almost... I'm trying to think. Eddie was in WCW like 95 to legitimately the first month of 2000. And from like 97, he's kind of face heel, half and half, but he's more so a heel. So I kind of want Eddie to be the heel in this AJ rivalry. So because of what happened last week, and again, it does not make the most sense, but Eddie wants to compete, so we're going to let him compete. An extremely weird tag team match of Eddie and Zero versus AJ and Trick Williams. Which, granted, this could split Trick and Zero into the next rivalry if we don't have anything for them, which, to be fair, I don't really think that we do. Now, over here, I kind of want to wrap up Maxine and Shotzi's thing going on. And we'll do that submission match and then one more match at the pay-per-view. And Rhea can go against Ivy Nile. No, it doesn't make sense, but she's fought in Asuka's battles for her. An Extreme Rules match. Call out promo between these two. This should be done at the pay-per-view. Ad promo by LA Knight. And ad promo by Dakota Kai. With Solo and Umaga. Bro, I'm getting so many freaking emails. Solo and Umaga. Solo should return at the pay-per-view. Umaga should return after the pay-per-view. So, if I'm being honest, we'll go ahead and use this because we don't really ever get to use one of those. So, as of right now, our road to WrestleMania / WrestleMania should be Braun Breaker versus LA Knight. We might do I'm not saying it really wouldn't be a phantom change, but Bobby Lashley, because I want to do Bobby and MVP versus Solo and Umaga for the tag titles. So it dead ass could be winner takes all again, legitimately could be that, or we could have Bobby drop the title to Braun, MVP drop the U.S. title to AJ, and then we do AJ and Eddie for the U.S. title. And then Bobby and MVP can go after Solo and Umaga for the tag titles. Which we do have a fixed match power card. So that might be the way that we go. I think that kind of also checks out. Because we've had Braun Breaker on the roster for a long time. LA Knight's been on the roster not as long as Braun. But like them being a top rivalry for the world title in our final farewell would kind of make sense. So I actually think that works out. We go on back. AJ, Eddie, Bobby and MVP versus Umaga and Solo, LA Knight, Braun Breaker, Women's 4-Way, and then Zero / Tricks, or I've already lost count because I had 4 fingers up, but I think that's 5. Braun and LA Knight, Bobby and MVP versus the Bloodline, AJ and Eddie, Women's 4-Way, Zero / Trick, or whoever else we sign. I think that does check out. Now, we do have to get through this freaking episode. We still could sign people if we need to. We still got one contract negotiation. But we need to get through this episode first. We also, if Eddie didn't have to compete tonight, we could have turned him heel here. But he wants to wrestle. We're going to have Eddie wrestle. We also did ask him to wrestle. So Guerrero and Zero versus. Now I just got to be thinking, do I really want a angle that's winner takes all with world, US, and tag titles, or do I want to split it up like how I imagined? Asuka. I just wrote this thing wrong. Because I like to write the champion's name first, and I wrote Asuka's name first. That might be fortune telling. Who knows? Asuka. Damn it. Io versus Asuka. Women's title match. Here we go. I'm trying to multitask and read these emails. I obviously shouldn't be doing. Bro, I feel bad for Shots. She ain't won a match. That ain't on me. I also wrote down the wrong name one.
It's over. Hit the bell. One, two. That's it. Bring it.
Bro, you can't. All right. We just let anything happen here now. As it was fortune telling, as Asuka did win. And I ain't letting it slide. That's a lot of money. I should have used this before I did that. Huh? Hey, Breeze. You seen the work I've been putting in, but I know I could do more for the brand. I'm ready to run a main event match, and the fans will be excited. Is Bobby? What was the main event last month? That was the tag team title match. I feel Bobby's definitely had a main event world title match, but I just hope he knows who the hell's winning. All right, but Bobby and Braun will be the main event, and we'll come back to a stipulation. This would make sense for an Iron Man. I also see that as a very high on the stamina. Probably do this as a TLC. Considering I don't even know the tables match is freaking. All right, role change for Eddie. While I'm thinking of it. We'll worry about staminas after this show. We'll probably end up changing that stipulation. What was the other match we were supposed to do here? I feel we could split these two into separate matches. But do I want to do that? I think it makes the most sense. I would like to, at some point, we'll crown them as the tag titles. It doesn't mean that much, but yeah. So, Io's getting her rematch in the co-main event. And then these two will battle in a branded tables match. And then add promos by all of these people. Oh, Trick probably ain't even gonna be here that damn long. We just looking at it. Cause he ain't even like really guaranteed anything. I don't really need any of these power cards. I've kind of talked myself into wanting Braun being the world champ. Even though I probably could save this fixed match for later, but we're going to go ahead and use it now. And Ivy Nile. We're not really getting much out of Ivy Nile. We could actually do Ivy Nile versus Maxine if Maxine wins. But I'm not really getting much out of Maxine or Shotzi, so. There is that. And it is actually insane. Umaga's been injured his whole freaking... We could have bring him back tonight, but it's not really that needed. Correct? Yeah, Umaga's legitimately been injured this whole contract run. However you would call that. But there's that. So... How do I... Alright, this is too risky to have as an ambulance match. This would be a great TLC match, but there's no real benefit. So, still cage match does kind of check out for these two. This is a rematch of a match that just happened, where the title changed hands. And then one last time for Bobby Lashley and Braun Breaker in a TLC, which I kind of already blanked that we were, because I was saying AJ and Zero would be a good TLC match. I completely blanked on us being a TLC match here, but let's get through this. Is there anything I need to change? It's too late now. That's my fucking phone. I'm trying to type something in and it keeps autocorrecting and bothering the hell out of me. And Shotzi wins. And it would have benefited us more if Maxine won, but nothing to lose sleep over. Maybe this is the last time that they do freaking Blair to have important Zoe Stars, but I'm legitimately been saying it for 2 months, so I doubt it. I would love to get Ray on this roster, but I don't know how we'd be able to do that. He's also unavailable, which is funny and fair. Let's see. This is the last time we could actually do a trade, so I don't need to like just fast forward through it. for some reason, because these contracts are kind of cheap. What is Rhea? Rhea's a bruiser that can change to a fighter. Jade is a giant that can change to a bruiser. You see what I'm trying to get at here. I didn't expect that to work, but that really helps us out here. I'm not going to spend any more because we need to re-sign Umaga, and then we'll spend the rest of the money searching for talent. I would have liked to bring Bronson Reed back, but it wouldn't have really worked out. This sucks. This effing sucks. It's not the worst thing. I just don't know who the hell to pair with Solo now, and I really wanted to do that match with Solo and him versus MVP and Lashley. So now I gotta find somebody to pair with Solo. This ain't guaranteed, but probably. Alright. I know this doesn't make sense, but because Umaga's about to be gone on the show. Now, I'm not going to book this show entirely. We're going to do this talent scout search, and then that's what we'll kick off our last video with. We went the Immortals route last time around. We'll go the Legends route this time. Bro, Jimmy Uso kind of makes sense. Like, that does help us out. Roxanne Perez. Don't really have anything for her to do, though. So we'll probably just go with Jimmy Uso. Did we have... We had Jimmy last season, and everything went to shit. Alright, so if you don't know what I'm trying to do, is dead-ass, damage control, fatal 4-way. Instead of it being Rhea... Because the original plan was Rhea versus Asuka versus Io versus Dakota. We brought Kyrie back, which is what I wanted to do. So now it's going to be Asuka versus Dakota versus Io versus Kyrie. Asuka versus Io versus Dakota versus Kyrie. Jade versus Rhea. Eddie versus AJ. Braun versus LA Knight. Lashley and MVP versus Jimmy and Solo. And then we have some filler things in between if needed. So with that being said, we need several things. We could just have Asuka versus Kyrie in our main event. I know the styles don't match, but we need Jade to be a giant or a bruiser, face bruiser, and Rhea. So we need One of these two is going to have to turn, face or heel. For the sake of this week, we'll just have them both role change this week. No, that's the opposite. Class change. I knew something was up there. And then one of the two will role change next week. So that way, fighter, bruiser, boom. Now, over here, we also need LA Knight to role change, correct? Yes. He will be a heel. But we also might just wait and do that next week because Braun is at 8 stamina. We ain't got no match for over here unless we have Jimmy Uso in a match. And I don't really want to turn Solo face, but that's probably the route we're going to have to go. Go ahead and sign Jimmy for the rest of the season. To go against it. Jimmy versus Eddie would be an interesting match. It wouldn't be the best opening match. But for the sake of all this, and I would deadass have AJ interfere, but I don't want anybody getting hurt. So that's not why we're not going to do that. So this is where we'll be picking off in the next video, the last episode of our WCW MyGM series. So I do appreciate you. I've got a lot of things to do in between that time, so hopefully I get all that done. Hopefully you enjoy your holiday break if I don't see you before it starts and all that crap. Again, I got a lot of things to do, so I'm trying to go ahead and wrap this up. So I do appreciate y'all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one because I'm out for now. Goodbye.